Let's see what we can do. Restoration gives us a land. So an X spell on top is not very good. I could just draw 2 anyway. And then we can start getting stuff off the top. So yeah, we're going to lose 6 life for this, but okay, now we're going to, now they're going to need a board wipe of some kind here. We are getting pretty low on life, but... Hello, welcome back to another Phyrexia or B1 video. Today we're looking at Kaya, Intangible Slayer. I think this is potentially one of the strongest control finishes we have seen in a very long time. And because of one word, hexproof, the fact that this cannot be killed in a conventional way by kill spells is ludicrous, because most other control decks don't run creatures to attack you with. And if they do, they're going to have to deal with 6 to 8 loyalty when this drops down anyway, so that's already tough. But hexproof is just really good, and I think this is going to make it very tricky for certain decks to deal with. I mean, there's not many ways you can deal with this. There's a couple of cards that say when it comes in, each player sacrifices a planeswalker. But apart from that, like if you're running mono red or mono green, you're just gonna have to attack it. There's just no other way. So that's what makes Kaya, Intangible Slayer, a very important card added to Orzhov's roster. So her abilities are very good for surviving. +2, each opponent loses 3 and gain 3. So I want to utilise that with some life gain strategy. So we've got Aetherflux Reservoir here. If you get to 50 life, you win the game by shooting someone for 50 damage. Also got Heliod as well. Whenever you gain life, put a counter on the creature. And we also have Indulging Patrician. Beginning of your end step, if you gain 3 more life this turn, each opponent loses 3. So if you have this in Kaya, your opponent loses 6. 6 life in one turn. That's a lot. The 0 is draw 2, each opponent may scry 1. I love the balancing here. A lot of Magic cards are focused on either crippling your opponent or pushing yourself forward, but an ability where you get something and the opponent gets something, I think that's a really sweet spot for Magic, because it creates a really interesting dynamic. Not everything has to be push someone down. Like, you can pull them up a bit, and then that means your ability can also be slightly stronger. Also, if this was just draw 2 cards, it would be boring, wouldn't it? It would just be kind of boring. And then the -3 is the very special part. Exile creature or enchantment. If it wasn't an aura, get a token copy of it, except it's a 1/1 spirit. So this, bear in mind, you can use this on your stuff as well. So let's say you have Ethereal Absolution out, and for some reason it's been enchanted with something which has no abilities. Well, if you exile this, then it will come back with all its basic abilities again. I mean, there might be a corner case where you do your own stuff, but most of the time you will be doing your opponent's things. And to give yourself a 1/1 spirit version of it as well is quite interesting. Actually, one thing which is good with this is Saga. So let's say Elspeth Conquers Death comes in, you exile something, and you've got nothing in your graveyard that you particularly want. You could exile this to get a copy of it. It's pretty awesome. It's essentially a copy effect in Orzhov, which is unheard of, to be honest. The rest of the deck is just pure Orzhov awesomeness. Really, really enjoyed playing this deck. It was fun. I think it's definitely my niche. It's control decks, and this has got the board wipes to support that. So if your opponents do have enough creatures to try and hit Kaya, you can take them out. You've got Doom Foretold, which is one of my favourite cards. On each player's upkeep, that player sacks an unland, an untoken permanent, and if an opponent can't, they discard a card, lose 2 life, you draw a card, you gain 2 life and get a knight. There's a lot of words on there. But essentially, if you can keep up some random permanents, you can just take out your opponent's, interestingly enough, you can take out your opponent's Kaya, because it's a sack effect and it doesn't target. If you're interested in seeing the deck list, it'll be below. Make sure to check this one out. It's definitely very powerful and a special card. It's interesting because in paper Magic, it's tracking for about $3, which is very cheap. I mean, I've got myself one for paper, and it's sad that in paper that this is just too slow, but in 1v1, this is a nightmare. Different story altogether. If you can get this out quickly as possible. The only thing I would say is, because I've only got 4 rocks here, I'd maybe put a few more rocks in, but again, more rocks you put in, the less action you have late game. So let's get into the gameplay. Don't forget to drop me a like and a sub if you enjoy the content, and I'll see you there in the games. Opponent goes first with Sorin. Starting hand is actually pretty decent. We have 2 ways to deal with Sorin, unless they Thoughtseize or something here. We'll go for the Gate of the Black Dragon first, because it is a swamp, so it means the Lochthwain and the Chapel will come in untapped. Dark Ritual, Sorin turn 2. Again, it's one of those planeswalkers that... Oh, there's a knock at the door. Bear with me a sec. Okay, so it was just Postman Pat. Let's see what we're working with here. Ooh, Loran is good. Reborn. Although, the thing about Loran is, not too bothered. Firstly, she hasn't got a target yet. And secondly, I'm out of breath. This is what happens when you don't go out of the house that much. You get fat and lazy. And going downstairs fast tires you out. Okay, so, even though they got Sorin turn 2, I still feel very safe. Attacking Newman, what are they getting back? Oh, they're trying to get something back. Okay. So I probably should have killed the Sorin in response there. That was very silly of me. So now we're going to have to work a bit harder. But that's fine. Lion Sash. I think we'll just kill that here because that can get pretty big. And so what we're doing is we're setting up the turns for the Loran to come out. So Loran should come out here. Yeah, nice. See, this is what happens when you play Magic well. You know what people are going to do. And now she exists as a way to draw each of us cards, which I'm really not that bothered about. Land is perfect. And then we can literally just play a blocker. Or an attacker. Either way. It's going to be effective. Stops her getting in. Sorin comes out, so he can just revive the Lion Sash again if he wants. Okay. I demand servitude. So I've got to think about this. We have the Elspeth Conquers Death, but do we really want to do it here? Because we've got nothing to revive. Okay, what we can do is attack. That is something we can do. So it's going to reverse time, I suppose, because they just got this out. So it's almost like they never got this out. They're going to double block. Okay, so now Elspeth Conquers... I know it doesn't goes to the graveyard, doesn't it? Yeah, we're going to kill the Lion Sash because that has much better long-term value. But we could also use Price of Fame. No, it's fine. Don't want to be greedy here. And they make us draw a card. Wonderful. That brings me joy. Oh, it kills both, so they only have 1 toughness each. I feel like that was a very good trade for me. And now we have a way to literally exile their whole army of creatures. I presume that's the synergy of the deck, because without creatures, I'm not sure what their deck can do. And we can exile up to 3 creatures here. This is just a very amazing card. As long as you're not playing in the higher tiers, this can be pretty good. It's nice to see opponents that are slightly under the highest power level. Key to the archive. So I think that is what we're going to use the Conquer's Death on here. Because the logic for that is that this normally gives people off-color cards like blue, green, or red that they couldn't normally use. They discarded the Kaya's Wrath. Let's see what they do. Oh, Fear is very good. They got rid of their board wipe as well. So Fear, if you cast 2 spells in a turn, you get to look at the top 3 and keep 1. That's a very powerful card. So if they kill this with something, then it's going to show us 30% in their hand. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Again, that means that ECD has something to get out. So if, let's say in theory, they got an off-color card, they now can't use it. So Counterspell, Temporal Mastery, something like that. We could have just immobilized 1 card in the hand, but we won't know. Basically, there's no way of knowing unless I knew the person in real life and I asked them, because they could have just banked a card anyway. Oh, so they're going to destroy with Loran. Okay. That is pretty annoying. Especially because they can do it multiple times. But here's a good window for the Kaya, because it now means that if they kill the Kaya, we can return it with the Elspeth Conquers Death. Oh wow, we got the Blood out of the Sky. I love this card. Let's see if we can use it properly this game. So the only way for them to kill Kaya is via attacks or sack effects, because she has hexproof. And this is just I've never felt so safe behind a card. This is how a Planeswalker should feel, I suppose, but, like, I'm not gonna lie, if I was facing this, I wouldn't feel happy at all. Black Market Connections, okay. More coming Vampire. We could just obliterate them with the Blot the Sky here, but, I mean, we lose our stuff as well, but... +1/+1. We could just do that. It would really hurt them. So I guess the final parting message, let's draw 2, make them scroll 1, and then we're just going to blow up the field.
I've done my research.
And I think we could probably just win the game from here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we go for 7, we get 7 flyers. Mental. This card is crazy.
No choice. I gotta go.
Because we don't want them to have black market connections, do we? I just realised it doesn't kill creatures. Non-creature permanent. Okay, that's fine, because let's face it, black market connections at 31 life. That's not a good thing to see. Liliana of the Veil. I mean, we have 14 flying in the air.
I'm tired of your secret.
That is pretty crazy. And we actually have a legit blocker. Little halfling guy swinging in with all. I guess we can force them to make us both draw a card here. Yeah, thought as much. Kaya number 2. I think they're going to board wipe here, to be honest. This is a very board wipey attack. Yeah, there we go. I've predicted 3 things this game. It's quite freaky. Right, they're not going to be happy about this, are they? Let's exile the Liliana. And I think we might see a concession very, very soon here. They've got nothing in hand, so the Basilica doesn't do anything. We can sign in blood, though. They're at 33, so it's going to take us a while to kill them, but we just have literally all the removal under the sun. If they draw a card that... Oh no, Rankle, okay. We have the answer for that as well. Insane. Oh my goodness, I wanted to use all the cards. That was crazy amount of value we had. Okay, we go first against Taser Karlov. Very nice opening hand. We have Patriarch's Humiliation, which does require having creatures out, so... Although this does actually just get rid of abilities anyway, so we could just not kill something, but make it not have any abilities, so that could be useful. Taser Karlov wants to get lots of creatures out that have death triggers, and then double them, and also have tokens out as well. Very powerful, very nice card. I do like that a lot. Go for the Heliod first, and then we can go for the Campbell in the following turn, which is pretty nice synergy with the Heliod, because if they cast a non-creature spell, they lose 2, we gain 2, and if we gain life, we can put counters on stuff, which means the Esper Sentinel will get bigger, which is just what we want to see. Fantastic. Hit the land drop. Go for the Campbell. So if they cast something like a board wipe, for instance, we could draw a card, put a counter on the Heliod, but we shall see what they do. If they cast something a bit more pesky, we could use a Doomful Torch to get rid of some of their things. This is a nice way to get rid of big, just targets. We can literally just kill the Taser here, which is pretty awesome. Oh, actually, it doesn't kill it, does it? It just removes the abilities, because I thought it had double creatures. Equal to the creatures. Okay, sad times. Okay, let's do Doom Foretold. Slowly make them get rid of permanents. And here's the cheeky thing. We have a very cheeky synergy thing we can do here. We can sack the Sentinel on our turn, then cast a Sorin to bring it back for -1 each turn, and then keep sacking it. Ratadrabik. Okay, so we'll get rid of the Sentinel here. Circle of Loyalty. It's good to make knights just to block. Okay, 1, get the Sentinel back. So yeah, let's see how long we can loop this for. And you'll leave the Heliod up as a blocker as well. Vigilance and War. We don't want either of these getting through to Sorin, or our trick is over. Yeah, so the Doom Foretold's putting in a lot of work. So this says non-token, which means that they'll get a clone copy of Taser. Cavalier of Dawn, that's a shame. So they're going to use it to kill the Doom Foretold. Oh no, the game is up. So now if this dies, they're going to get 2 things back. Oh, it's annoying. So for now, all we can do is really just ping them for 1. And we can put a counter on the Sentinel just to make it easier for us to draw a card here. Okay, it's not looking too bad. So annoyingly, if... Oh, so this only triggers for Legends. This triggers for anything. Adeline. Oh, everything they play is disgusting. Legion's Landing will drain them. Interesting. It was just too much value for them, apparently. But look at what they had. They had so much stuff. Apologies if you can hear my boy shouting in the background. He is just being noisy today. But this is actually a really good starting hand. We've got the Legion to Ashes, which can deal with the Rowan. It's nice to see a different deck, though. This is probably going to be a control deck. Let's be honest. And it's going to probably have extra turn spells. But at least we die in a different way for a change. Okay, so they're going to have counter spells, counter magic. Let's get some ramp out here. So next time we can even go for the Sorin. Sorin's decent because it does pressure the walkers by hitting them for 1 each turn, and they only tick up by 1 each anyway. Although the big Will does have 5 loyalty, so he will be tricky to deal with. But again, we do have the Legion to Ashes. Midnight Clock. It's tempting to kill that, actually. We could go for the Sorin, but we've got nothing in the graveyard. But, to be honest, I think the Will is scarier than the Clock. Which is a weird sentence, I understand. Also, we're setting up some really interesting future plays here, because if for some reason we go for Archivist of Aggro and they counter it, then Sorin can just return it to the battlefield, and then we can every time they tutor, we get to draw a card and gain life, which is relevant. They might have a way to search for a spell from their deck, which is normally an extra turns. I'm really begging for some artifact removal here. Narset. That is quite annoying against Kaya, but I'm hoping by that point we can actually have killed the Narset here. Oh, okay, so they've got a Prismari command. That is... They can't use it yet. Oh, blot out the sky, that's interesting. So we might as well ping the Narset, because that means she only gets 1 more activation. Destroy all non-creature permanents. This could be great. So if we get this to 8 mana, we can actually destroy everything. Wow. Surprised why we don't see this more often. 8 mana. And you create X2/1s with flying as well. It's very cool. So let's see if they kill the Archivist, as I said, or counter it, we can just return it without much hindrance. So they decided to not use the Narset. That's interesting. They're thinking of killing the Coastal Heart and the Archivist here with the Prismari command. 2 damage and destroy an artifact. This is very similar to Kologan's command. So we might as well tap it here. So they're just trying to slow us down desperately. Okay. Fair enough. Did that in upkeep. But that's interesting, because why didn't they kill the Archivist? Because now we just kill the Narset then if they... So they prioritized 4, 5, 6. I think they're trying to ramp up to some bigger spell, of course. That would make sense. Well, what if we just try and kill the Midnight Clock then? Because they're really adamant about keeping that, I presume. I mean, we have kind of forfeited our way to kill the Rowan with this, but yeah, I just don't want Midnight Clock to go off. And also the fact that they actually got a treasure rather than killing the Archivist. I mean, the logic, I suppose, is they knew we could bring it back, so I suppose they were thinking, why bother? But the point is, this is my counter-argument, they kept their Narset alive. So why didn't they just use it if they knew it was going to die anyway? Strange, isn't it? 3, 4, 5, 6. They are certainly building up to something.
I abhor my need for blood.
Man, my kid today is so noisy. Sometimes you just want your kid to shut the hell up. Oh god, sorry, he's meant to be having a nap, and the wife's trying to Put him down for a nap, but my goodness, he resists. He was just harder than a bloomin' Terminator. Alright, so they're just going to play the old not casting any spells game of Magic, which we all enjoy.
Vampirism is a useful trait.
Alright then, we'll just not do anything, I suppose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So one more mana and we can have blot out the sky. So if for any reason, they could just come up the field with lots of stuff here, but it's unlikely that. I'm guessing it's a counter-space deck. They're just not going to do anything. Actually, no, we... Okay, fine, we've done it now. I was going to say, probably should have attacked first, but...
What a mess I've made.
Surely they can't just be counters. Is that why they can't do anything? Bit confused, to be honest. If they flash in a creature, we have... Okay, so we have two answers for this. So they can brainstorm, or they can... They're going to go for the Prismari command. Well, let's kill the Gear Hulk here, then, so they can't swing back. Hope this resolves, because I want to Surveil too, please. That was lucky, because we had two dead cards on top. Prismari command. I wonder which modes they're going to go for here. Will they finally kill the Archivist? they finally go for it. Yeah, so that's why I was hesitant with this Sorin there. I kind of wish I didn't do uptick so soon. I've never seen a Sorin on 16 loyalty. That is quite a lot, to be honest. So here comes Will.
Oh,
Draw
good.
2 cards. That's going to be annoying.
Well,
So now we're torn between Sorin, but we can't really race the Will because it ticks up. Oh, that's annoying. Maybe we try the Citadel here. They probably have loads of spells though. The reason I did this first is because if it gets countered, then the blot out the sky doesn't really matter anymore. And I feel like the blot out the sky would be more important.
Accept the dark.
I do fear that it's too late though, like, because we haven't managed to, like, resolve many threats, they don't really have much pressure. Okay, so that's a 0-2 now, with no abilities. Oh, so the Evolving Worlds doesn't give us a card, that's so sad. And they certainly know what they're doing, in some ways. Oh, hang on a second, we still... Oh no, it does have abilities. For some reason I thought it didn't have abilities. Okay. Fair enough. So we can give something +3/+3 flying. That's actually pretty decent. We can actually use this to kill the Will. See if they want to kill the Archivist. So, giant growth, and we draw a card. It's, let's face it, it's probably not going to resolve, is it? As if the whole deck is going to be counters, though. That's so sad. The irony that their gamer tag is Scoop. They better not Scoop. 10 damage. They could have potentially killed the Sorin with that. Okay, so we get the Voice of the Blessed. I suppose the idea is we want to use up all their counter spells, but my god, they've got so many. They've drawn +4 with these two, so they've just replaced themselves each time. Every deluge, they're going to get +2 again. I don't think we can keep up with this value. And then we'll return the Ogre again. Okay.
Embrace the bloodline.
So yeah, again, basically what we want to do is we want to make them tap out. Because if they do, we're going to get rid of all of their things. But that's the issue, isn't it? They can just so easily kill our things. Double vision. Oh my goodness. So if they have something like a Molten Impact, so they're going to kill both of our creatures here. Okay, that's annoying. So we can return them again. There's not too much of an issue here. Minus. So they can draw 2 more cards in the next turn. I mean, we could go for Kaya, but she's probably going to get countered. Maybe that's okay, because that means... Basically, we want to use up all their counters. Right, let's just go for it. We need to bait them. Oh, they're going to counter it, aren't they? They've got so much mana. Wash away, as if they had the wash away as well. And they have the Molten Impact. So I should have probably done the Kaya before the Siren activation there.
You will become dust.
Right. This is getting pretty old now. Because this deck isn't predicated on the fact that your opponent has any fun at all. But, I mean, I suppose no decks are they, these days? But oh no. Niv. I guess we can try and exile it here. If they have a counter spell, then we might get away with resolving stuff in our turn.
I feel nothing anymore.
Come on, use all your mana. Use your double blue, double red. Supreme Will. So they've still got 2 treasures, unbelievably. Actually can't believe they still have 2. So they can still cast 3 mana spells here. And they're pretty confident about this because obviously they... Yeah, let's go for the Esper Sentinel. See what they feel, how they feel about this. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can still go for this. Let's just see. I think what's going to happen here is, if this doesn't resolve, I think I'm just going to concede. I think you probably understand why, can't you? Because I just don't think I can resolve any spells anymore. They've got 6 in hand, double spells, double draw, double everything. They cast a spell here, they draw a card. Memory lapse. Yeah, I'm just going to call it, guys. You can see why. This was just toxic. A very toxic game here, sadly. Okay, here's our favourite Praetor again, the old, big old Atraxa. Actually, she isn't a Praetor, she's a Phyrexian Angel, which is a bit odd, but... We do have some decent ways to deal with her. The Profane Procession could, in theory, deal with her infinitely, but I doubt we're going to have this on the battlefield for too much longer. On turn 5, we can get out the Kaya. So let's just see how we do. The Archivist of Ogma could be good if they have a fetch land. Or like anything like a Cultivate would be good against that. So they're going to pass the turn. Do they run counters, I wonder? Okay, interesting. Let's go for the Campbell. They could have a board wipe, which would just ruin us in... Well, actually, we have the Sorin. Sorin's pretty good for mitigation against board wipes, because he can just return your favourite creatures back, which is pretty good. Tapped Overgrown Tomb. Skyclave Apparition. Well, that certainly gets to the Campbell there. So what do we want to do? Maybe just go for the Sorin for now. It ticks up 2 at a time, so I'm not too worried about it yet. If they flicker this Apparition, we are in trouble. So I'm thinking they're a flicker build, which is a bit annoying, because they can deal with our entire field. So next turn, we can actually go for the Kaya, which is cool, because we could, in theory, exile this, and then we get a copy of it. Depending on what they do here, though, Smothering Tithe. We can actually exile the Smothering Tithe if we want to. Get our own. Decline that. Yeah, we definitely want to get rid of the Smothering Tithe, because that's going to give them way too much power.
I can't stand by when evil threatens the multiverse. Today you die.
And now we have our own flying 1/1 smothering tithe, which is interesting. 3, 4, 5, 6. So they play a land, they can just straight up go for a Atraxa. But if they do, we can just exile the Atraxa and get our own Atraxa. For -3. And they can't deal with this with... Well, they could have something like Ruinous Ultimatum or something, but... Oh, they're just going to kill our Smothering Tithe. That's sad. Okay, so nobody's allowed to have Smothering Tithe now. Okay, so this is fine, because we can just block, we get a 3/3, and then Sorin can revive the Archivist. I'm fine with that. Okay, so we don't want to tick down here, so let's draw 2 cards. Man, if we can beat this Atraxa,
I'll keep watch.
it's going to be pretty good. To use the Oath to kill the Loran. We don't want them to draw extra cards. If they flicker it, though, they can just kill the... I feel like they have a flicker spell in their hand, but... And then we can go for the Profane Procession, which is going to be good versus Atraxa, because, as I said, we can do that indefinitely. And then get back the Archivist. Okay, looking good. So they can't have Ruinous Ultimatum because they don't have red, but they can have Farewell, which would just screw us very, very badly here. Let's just hope they do not have Farewell. Okay, here she comes. But we're still in a very, very good position, to be honest. So they're going to get... Oh my goodness. So it is a flicker deck, you can tell by everything that says ETBs. But it's a bit slow because they've basically spent this turn drawing loads of cards, which is respectable, but we can just exile the Atraxa here. And these cards aren't even that scary. Yeah, they kill our stuff, but we don't even have that many good creatures. We care more about these Planeswalkers. Green. What are we going to do? Hexproof? Could be hexproof. So once again, let's draw some cards. The only way we can beat them is if we get our own arsenal here. Please don't be hexproof. It's going to be hexproof, isn't it? Veil of Summer. Oh, that's not very good. Okay, that is pretty annoying, I have to say. So we can't even target them. Okay, I guess we can target ourselves somewhat annoyingly.
Vampirism.
Okay, that is very annoying. Okay, we'll go for the Midnight Reaper. So next turn they can just attack in and kill the Kaya. As if they had that. Oh well. See what they do here. If they've got one more mana, they can go for the Chupacabra plus Semester's End, which means they can flicker the whole team. Okay, so they go for Chupacabra, kills the Archivist. So they're going to let us draw more cards. Okay. So what are they more interested in killing? Wow, they want to kill the Sorin. That is definitely a mistake. Unless they have
A triumph of the weak.
another protection spell here. Which I'm guessing they do. This can be done at instant speed though. Can't it? Yes, it can. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 open. So we can't even do both. Okay. Let's draw some cards then. I can't believe they let us have this.
I'll keep watch.
Bolus's Citadel. Okay. Let's go for the Dare Judgment. They've got to have a way to protect their stuff, haven't they? Cloud Shift. So it's gonna come back in. They're gonna get more cards. I mean, they already have 5. Greedy. Oh, they could legit counter this, though. But if they use the offer you can't refuse, we're gonna get treasures, which then means we can. Oh, they've gone for Pact. They've gone for Pact. That means their next turn is going to be spent. Surely they should have gone for offer you can't refuse. Because their next turn is pretty much dead now. Very weird choices. Because although the offer you can't refuse would have given us 2 treasures, it would have meant that they get this turn, but instead they have 2 mana for Jukabog. Does that mean they've just got loads more protection spells then? See, they're thinking like, if they kill the Kaya, we can recast it and just kill the Atraxa. Going for us? What the heck? Okay, so they want to gain the life. Very strange. They've let Kaya live for a very long time. Sure, so we'll just draw some more cards then. Because we're not winning the life gain battle there. Right, let's see if we can get her here. Okay. So, yeah, I'm a bit confused. We'll pass back to them. We also have 5 mana up for the Atraxa if they go for the Atraxa again. Which is interesting. Kaya versus Atraxa. Who can draw more cards? Skyclave Relic. So we can't kill that with the Fracture, sadly. But they are setting up future turns. They can actually counter activate abilities with the Zertai, so they could counter the Procession. Let's see if they want to do it. I mean, they might flicker it here with the Semester's End, but I'd rather they do that now than when they have the Atraxa out. Night of Autumn. So are they going to kill the Profane here? Okay, so in response, we'll try and exile it because I don't want them to flicker that to kill the Bolas of Citadel. Okay, let's go. Let's see what we can do. Restoration gives us a land. So an Expel on top is not very good. I could just draw 2 anyway. And then we can start
I've done my research.
getting stuff off the top. So let's, yeah, we're going to lose 6 life for this, but okay, now we're going to, okay, now they're going to need a board wipe of some kind here. We are getting pretty low on life, but there we got D-Spark. And yeah, Bolas of Citadel, there you go. So we need sometimes versus Atraxa. Did you know that you can help my channel by watching another one of my videos? Go ahead, you know you want to.